That's okay. I think we're supposed to make noise now.
Nuh-uh. You don't know. You don't know me.
Pretty sure that's what we're paid for at this point. Guys, This is Monkey in the Morning. I'm Monk. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
Jack, how the hell you been, my friend?
Yeah, usual.
Me too. Had a good weekend, but been sore and mostly tired. Just tired. My sleeping schedule's all fucky and is what it is. I was watching Megyn Kelly the other day. It just made me laugh. Sorry. She said fuck like 3 times in less than a minute and had to stop and apologize to her audience.
Wow.
She's been on YouTube too long already.
Yeah, we're corrupting her.
She lost that Fox filter she used to have. Oh, Jack. Man, what a world we live in.
World full of dumbasses and stupidity.
Yeah, it's... Go ahead.
And Germany.
Yeah, it's not an exaggeration to say that I deal with a lot of stupid shit. A ton of it, guys. It's a hazard of this job and this hobby of mine of politics. Mm-hmm. You're gonna run into stupid shit. But what CBS pulled the other day on Face the Nation, fucking wow. Like insanely asinine. You know what I mean?
Was that the was it Face the Nation or 60 Minutes?
It was Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan.
Oh, the Germans?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I mean, it's hard to be surprised after a while. You're just like, yeah, I kind of expected this, that you guys would go along with this stupid shit.
It's not surprising, but it is still, because as low as my opinion is of our press, somehow they're like, no, you have not got to the bottom of the barrel yet.
Yeah, it's like they find sub-basements inside of a barrel.
So for those of you who missed it, you're welcome. We're going to watch it. So we need Rubio. There we go. Now, Marco here.
Oh, sorry, Habit.
He's, I see what you did there. I don't know if he was like on Xanax or something in this, because Marco's not the most charismatic guy to begin with. It's probably why his presidential run was so bad. Yeah,
he's a very subdued, not quite Al Gore levels, but yeah that dude has he just looks like no matter what happens in front of him, he'll be like, oh, that's interesting.
And especially with the rest of the Trump team that we've seen so far, from Trump himself to JD to Elon, Bondi, all of these people who give interviews, they're very charismatic people. And Rubio's like, hi, I'm Marco.
Yeah, he's not animated at all. He's just he'd be the straight man in any comedy sketch.
Eagle says, I prefer Valium. He does kind of remind me of Prince Valium from Spaceballs.
That's
just saying.
Point. Yeah.
So we're going to forgive him because what he says is what's more important than how he says it here. But they're talking about negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. And we're skipping all of that because it's mostly her going, tell me what you're going to do. And him going, no. I don't know what I'm going to do. We're still in discussions. Then she's like, no, tell me. And it's really boring because Marco is not real good at this. And she's an insufferable twat. However, at the, 10-minute, 2-second mark of this 14:15 video, this exchange happens.
I want to ask you about what happened in Munich, Germany at the security conference. Vice President Vance gave a speech, and he told U.S. allies that the threat he worries about the most is not Russia. It is not China. He called it the threat from within, and he lectured about what he described as censorship, mainly focusing, though, on including more views from the right.
We're going to pause right there because when I first watched this, I hadn't seen Vance's speech yet, and I have gone and watched it, and I do have it queued up just in case anybody doubts me.
Yeah.
But he does bring up speech and censorship as part of this enemy within, but that is not all he brings up.
No, it was a surprisingly pretty good speech.
He also mentions unchecked migration.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts by talking about a literal election that was nullified because the people in charge, a court, decided no, there was some Russian influence in this election, so we got to do the whole thing over again.
Yeah, we don't talk about those things though because the press agrees with those, and they don't want to bring it up because then people will see what they're doing.
But she's framing it all in, hey, they're not allowing right-wing speech. That's what he says. No, and actually he doesn't even say right-wing. He specifically points out that at the Munich Security Conference where he gave this speech, that left-wing voices were silenced. There were left-wing parties who were not allowed to go there because they're too extreme to the left. But you see how she framed it, right?
Yeah.
These dirty fucking bitches, man. And for the record, I'm not calling her a bitch because she's a woman. I'm calling her a bitch because she works for the legacy media. Anyway.
Also met with the leader of a far-right party known as the AfD, which, as you know, is under investigation and monitoring by German intelligence because of extremism.
Okay. I'm going to say again, I do not know enough about the AfD to give an opinion on this. What I will say is I've heard people like Margaret Brennan here call Trump far right.
Yeah.
And as for being under investigation by the intelligence, our intelligence community wanted to send people into Catholic churches to see what was being said.
Yeah.
You know, that priest might be up there talking a little bit too much about Jesus.
Yeah, the AfD, as far as I can tell, from what little exposure I've had to them, they're basically conservatives by American standards. So a little bit fringier in some elements, but you're always going to have that.
Again, they could be a bunch of shitbags for all I know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that when I hear the American press tell me how far right something is, I have to take that with, it's not even a grain of salt, man. It's like a boulder of salt.
Yeah, you're talking Jarbo levels of salt.
Yeah.
I mean, our press is so far communistic and authoritarian. Pretty much anybody that expresses something from 30 years ago is considered far right.
Yeah. And it's insane because it's anyway. So he met with these people. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh, hey, hang on. Thank you, Keldrick. My parents went to an anti-Trump rally on Monday. Just one more thing to add to the pile of absurdities in my life causing me stress. I need a vacation from my family more than I ever did from my job. Hopefully your week's going better. Mine's pretty borderline there, but thank you, Keldrick. Hopefully yours gets better. And yes, you should take a vacation. Vacations are very good for people. Also, thank you, Young Geezer, I believe it is, from yesterday on the Cash App. Appreciate the generous donation, man. Thank you.
I'm glad you did that because Shio, thank you for the donations. This was yesterday during my other stream, and I told him I would do it when we did the main stream. So here we are. It says, I bought my wife a full set of cooking DVDs for her birthday to help her learn to cook. I fully expect her to return the favor with a subscription to Pornhub. Jokes aside, today is her and her father's birthday. Sing for Waba. All right, so Waba, this one's for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Waba. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, sweetie. I hope you have a good one, and I hope your father did as well. And Shio, do you know you sent that twice? You sent it twice, so just save one next time.
Oh, we do have another birthday. It's Darth Mando's birthday.
I already sang to Darth. Are you really trying to get a second song?
Oh, yeah, I don't think he's here, but if you already sang to him.
Yeah. I sang to him on the other show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure he got a song from somebody.
I didn't read that one because of the joke on it over on my game channel where I try to be a little bit cleaner.
Oh, did he give you a naughty joke?
I mean, just the Pornhub part of it. I don't know how much YouTube pays attention to that word, you know?
Yeah, they're very weird about random phrases and words.
But Darth, in case you do listen, this one's for you, my friend. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday,
dear Darth Mando.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday. I know you said you were having a crappy one, so I hope it's gotten better. I really do.
Oh, yeah, man. Hope your day's...
Yeah, he said he was having a really bad day.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. So, Mando, I always say it Mondo. I don't know why. I hope it got better. I do, because your birthday should be a good day.
Yeah.
I just sang that to you with this mean-looking German on the screen, so you're welcome.
Well, I mean, they're Germans.
She does kind of look like she could be a villain in a spy thriller, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
or the naughty school marm.
I don't watch those kind of movies, so.
Oh, yeah. She looks like she has a ruler and she knows how to use it in all the wrong places.
Eagle says, I'm still dealing with a bad day. Ignore the bad part, find some funny. That's what I do. All right, so we have JD Vance wants right-wing opinions, and he met with this girl. Oh my God. And this happens.
What did all of this accomplish other than irritating our allies?
Hey, Nuts, how you doing, sweetie? For the record, when JD was doing this, he was preaching monkey's language, because you know how I am, Jack. We should be exporting free speech. It's the easiest thing for us to do, and we never do it. And JD Vance got up there in front of the fucking world, who, by the way, the number of people in that audience who didn't applaud at the notion of free speech being good was fucking disgusting.
It was a bit horrifying. But it was a good speech. I'll give him that. He did a pretty good job.
Out of the a couple of hundred people in the room, maybe 20% of them clapped for free speech. And there's like 2 or 3 times where they get a chance to. And yeah, maybe 20% did. These are our allies, guys. The people that we have so much in common with.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like the room was full of like the Saudis and places you would expect a dictatorial speech crushing.
Yeah. Except for it is. That's how the world has become.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is kind of scary.
I mean,
pathetic.
We used to make jokes with Badger because there was stuff as a German he was not allowed to say on our streams. He could get in real trouble for it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I could say them.
Yeah, and trust, sometimes he did not see those coming.
He did not.
I make myself laugh.
That was a well-played joke.
Thank you.
Anyhow, so what did this do other than upset our allies? If our allies are that upset over meeting with people who are not under criminal investigation and saying we need free speech, then fuck them. How about that?
Yeah, and how about the fact that maybe it's them who have changed. Maybe they should be a little more attuned to the history.
But they really haven't. I mean, America's First Amendment is still a wonder of the world because no other country does it. Even the ones that claim to, like Canada. I love Canadians get pissy when I tell them they don't have free speech. Like, we have free speech. We have free expression. But yeah, read the next part where it says they can take it away if they want to.
Yeah. Well, same with the English, the UK laws. They always say, like, oh, well, we have a bunch of laws in place. Yeah, how's that working out for you right now?
Thank you, Q. I've watched a lot of Sargon of Akkad coverage of the AFD. My best analogy that I can come up with is imagine if Jack Sobek started up a political party of normal people who happen to live in Portland and were maliciously reported on by the mainstream media. Again, yeah, I'm willing to hear your take on it, but it's not one I'm ever gonna give my own take until I look it up.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I would not be shocked if what you just said is 100% true, because she's the one saying it.
Yeah. Whenever the mainstream media hates somebody, they're probably somehow right wing compared to like Mao.
Mm-hmm. I mean, these are the people who called Joe fucking Rogan right wing as he was preaching Bernie.
Yeah.
Not after the change, but going back to remember the intellectual dark web?
Yeah.
And this is a time when a whole bunch of leftists, most of the people that, okay, I don't want to say most, about half of the people in the intellectual dark web were far lefties. They just all agreed on free speech. That was their agreement. And like, look at this right-wing shithead.
Yeah, look at those conservatives.
So, yeah, not saying I don't believe you, Q. It is something I will eventually have to look up myself and then forget because it's German politics. But
it's about as exciting as paint drying.
Right? German politics hasn't been spicy since the 40s.
Oh my God, yeah. It makes Italian politics look downright interesting.
Okay. So Rubio, I really hate this table she's sitting on, or that she's sitting at. What's the deal with see-through tables? Who wants to look at your own lap?
I don't know. I never understood that. If you're going to have like that plexiglass or glass looking table, make it opaque. Nobody wants to look at their own knees if they don't have to. I mean, what kind of pervert designed that?
The only reason to have a table like this is if you're shooting a movie about somebody who's on a drug bender and falls through it.
Or is getting their carpet munched underneath.
I suppose there could be some advantages there, but anyway, Marco's going to talk to her assertion about like we give a fuck what the world thinks. You know, maybe that's part of America's problem is we spent way too goddamn long thinking about what the rest of the world thinks of us.
We used to. It used to be like, fuck you. We do what we want. That's why they called us cowboys all the time.
Yep. And now we're like, please like us like we're fucking high school girls. Please let us be in your cool kids club. I mean this with all sincerity to the rest of the world. I'm talking to your leaders. I don't give a fuck what you think. You guys do you, we'll do us, okay? And then when we disagree with each other, let's meet on the field of battle, see how that works out.
Yeah, when you get in trouble with somebody else again, we'll have to come bail your asses out.
Yeah, you punk motherfuckers just pretending like you can do shit anyway.
Yeah.
We'll get you economically. How? We have all the money.
Yeah, you've been pissing yours away on social programs, and you have no militaries. So
yeah,
shut up.
We'll say something mean to you and make you cry. Go sit down.
Yeah.
Wombat says, it's my birthday. Can I have a song? Oh, it was a birthday on the 15th. This is for you, Wombat. And a 1 and a 2. Can you tell I really do not want to listen to Marco speak?
Yeah, I got the impression.
He's so boring. Wombat, you're not boring. This is for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wombat. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hope you had a great one. I really, really do. All right. Let's listen to boring Rubio. What was Trump's nickname for him? Lil Marco?
Lil Marco.
Lil Marco, take it away.
Just a young man.
Well, why would our allies or anybody be irritated by free speech and by someone giving their opinion? We are, after all, democracies. The music.
He comes off like a TV version of a really, really smart person who can't emote at all. He's like Sheldon.
Oh God, that's frightening.
But Marco, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the world, but everyone is offended at free speech these days. I mean, even here in America, I mean, that's something that JD Vance brings up in his speech, is that even in America, this shit has started to take shape.
Yeah.
You used words that hurt my feelings, or my favorite, that's disinformation. Get fucked. Oh, God, I have to play again.
Munich Security Conference is largely a conference of democracies in which one of the things that we cherish and value is the ability to speak freely and provide your opinions.
You would think, but no, Marco. And again, I don't know. I get what he's saying. He's trying to, these are supposed to be the values that democracies hold. One, North Korea is a democracy, and I don't think free speech is a part of theirs.
Well, yeah, on paper, they're a democracy.
Well, on paper, most of these places are. They just canceled a fucking election. Tell me that's a democracy. But the world has been moving this way for a while. And not just... JD Vance brings up several examples, and I'm getting ahead of the video here. But like, he brings up an example in Britain where a dude was praying, in Germany, praying to himself. But he was too close to an abortion center, and a cop saw him praying and said, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah, they did that to a woman in the UK. She's been arrested again for that.
He said, "I am saying a silent prayer for the child me and a girlfriend once aborted." And they arrested him, and he had to pay a big ass fine for praying too close to an abortion center. And I think it was in England, where a new law is that you can't even be inside your own house and be upset about abortion. And if you're too close to an abortion center, and if your family gets mad at you, they can call the police and tell on you for it. He said he didn't like abortion, and we live within 10 blocks of it. Is it Ireland? Thank you, Rogue Thought. Like, this is not something that's new. These people have been doing this shit for a while, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
George Washington, thank you. I told y'all to stay the fuck out of European politics because, true, because those bitches be crazy. You had one job. All you had to do was ignore them. One job. You're not wrong, George, and we did fuck that one all up. And thank you, FL. Well, you know what they say. You can't take the German. Sorry, you can take the German out of the Reich, but not the Reich out of the German. Fair enough. Don't worry. We'll get back to that in a little bit. All right, Marky.
And so I think if anyone's angry about his word, they don't have to agree with him, but to be angry about it, I think actually makes his point. I thought it was actually a pretty historic speech, whether you agree with him or not. I think the valid points he's making to Europe is we are concerned that the true values that we share, the values that bind us together with Europe, are things like free speech and democracy and our...
No, you know what binds us together with Europe? They don't have to pay for a military as long as we exist and have a treaty with them.
Yeah.
That's what binds us together with them. They tell us to go fuck ourselves all the time.
Yeah, even though they never live up to the agreed payments that they're supposed to make for all that defense. Honestly, at this point, I think Trump ought to threaten to pull out of NATO.
Which, by the way, not to pull out of NATO, but them not paying their share is something that JD brought up in that speech.
Well, they're not, and they know that they don't care. They think we're going to just do whatever they want anyway.
This is something that bothers me about Marco's answer, because he keeps saying it doesn't matter if you agree with him or not, which is true. But as an American, we shouldn't have to say that part.
Yeah.
Like, you should just be like, hey, he said that you should have the right to have an opinion. What's wrong with that? And that should be the end of it. You shouldn't have to go, I mean, you can agree that. No, you can't agree with that, because if you agree with that, you're an authoritarian shitbag. You should be allowed to have your opinions. We shouldn't have to say that part. We shouldn't have to be like, hey, you shouldn't get arrested for disagreeing with the government. That should be a fucking given. No, you can disagree with that if you want to. No, you can't. If you do, then you're a whole bunch of words that I would string together right now, but there might be children around.
Yeah, and we should impose penalties on people like that who don't want to
Fuck
be
yeah.
our friends and share our values.
We should absolutely do that. By all means, have some sanctions on Russia. I don't give a shit, but let's start sanctioning Canada for their free speech bullshit. How about that?
Shared history in winning 2 world wars and defeating Soviet communism and the like. These are the values that we shared in common. And in that Cold War, we fought against things like censorship and oppression and so forth. And when you see backsliding...
I just want to point out that she just said right there, right? He's talking about the Cold War and how we were fighting against censorship. Right. So she knows some kind of history, right? Theoretically. Or she's
but she was rooting for the other team.
Or she's just agreeing with Marco the way that I do when my wife has talked too long and I've zoned out. Like, yeah,
Probably shouldn't admit you do that.
She does it to me too. It's okay. We're honest with each other about that. And I've found that if I go, baby, I'm sorry, I zoned out, then it goes way better than pretending I knew what she said.
Or when you just pat her on the head and be like, that's nice, dear.
All right, anyway.
And you raise that. That's a very valid concern. We can't tell them how to run their countries. He simply expressed in a speech his view of it, which a lot of...
They have no fucking problem telling me how we're supposed to run our country. How many of these people have extradition treaties with us, Jack, that include, but they can't face the death penalty?
Yeah.
How many of them were like, I can't believe you guys have to live with this Donald Trump? We chose them, fuckers. They have no problem telling us how we're supposed to. We as Americans need to stop being such bitches. Now, that doesn't mean we got to go around the world beating our chest, Jack, but like, I don't care what you think. Go away. Go away.
Yeah. Go away, son. You're bothering me.
People frankly share. And I thought he said a lot of things in that speech that needed to be said.
Yep.
And honestly, I don't know why anybody would be upset about it. People are allowed, you don't have to agree with someone's speech. I happen to agree with a lot of what he said, but you don't have to agree with someone's speech to at least appreciate the fact they have a right to say it, and that you should listen to it and see whether those criticisms are valid. I assure you.
He's being so diplomatic and just saying, I can't believe these Europeans are such pussies. Because that's what you should say. I can't believe these Europeans are such pussies that words make them lose their fucking mind and put people in jail. Not violent words. Just sticks and stones would go so far over there in England.
Right.
The United States has come under withering criticism on many occasions from many leaders in Europe, and we don't go around throwing temper tantrums about it.
Well,
true, we don't, but we probably should. They want us to act like Europe, so let's act like Europe and be whiny bitches, Jack. Every time they annoy us, let's just cry about it.
But I don't want to smell my own farts.
And I like bathing, so I couldn't be European.
Yeah.
I like smelling fresh. Sorry, I know all of you don't stink, just most of you.
Just too many.
He was standing.
Sorry, we got to get her take on this because it's fucking insane.
Leaders in Europe, and we don't go around throwing temper tantrums about it.
Well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide.
That is so historically inaccurate.
He was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to commit genocide. As the title said, what? What the fuck is this bitch talking about?
To quote Arnold, what you talking about, Willis?
So in your world, Hitler got up there and said, I should be able to say we should kill the Jews because of free speech. Really?
Yeah. It's amazing how many people are parroting this line now.
This is one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
This is so historically retarded as to be farcical. This is some shit you would see in a movie where they're highlighting that the anchor is just a dumbass who doesn't actually know what they say. So they say, "Fuck you, San Diego." I heard this and I went, no. And she honestly thought this was a real point.
Oh yeah, they've been screeching this all day.
They used free speech to bring us the Holocaust. They really didn't. I don't know if you know this, but Hitler actually had to leave Germany for a while.
Yeah.
No, it's free. Yeah, exactly. Hitler clamped down on free speech.
Oh, absolutely. And gun ownership. Those things go hand in hand.
Authoritarian regimes always clamp down on free speech because if you give pushback, people start to notice, oh yeah, he is kind of a douchebag. Why do you think that these European countries and Canada, as well as say Australia, New Zealand, the bastard children of England and the rest of Europe, why do you think they are clamping down so much on free speech? It's for control the speech, control everything. If you're not allowed to say that feminism has gone stupid, well, feminism can say whatever they want and their agenda gets pushed. They're the ones who win. Look, it was a democracy. Granted, one side wasn't allowed to talk, but well, they should have had arguments that agreed with us, and then they could have said what they wanted to. The notion that the Holocaust happened behind a cloak of free speech. She should never stop feeling bad about herself for saying this publicly. She should be shamed off of television for this. She has every right to say it, but every time she opens her mouth from now on, people should just start laughing.
Yeah, I agree with you, but unfortunately, so many of the left-wingers will just eat this up and be like, yeah, that's right, yeah, Hitler-esque, oh, yeah, Hitler.
Now, Marco, in his charismatic best, has an answer.
And he met with the head of a political party that has far-right views.
Okay, stop. Again, far-right views. Give an example, just one. All you're telling, I guarantee you most Americans are like me and don't know what the fuck the AFD is. So give an example of the far-right view that is somehow Hitler-esque here. Please. No, he met with somebody who has far-right views.
They're opposed to mass importation of unvetted migrants. Those bastards.
I just want to point out that our media had either their actual anchors say it or had people say it, calling Donald Trump a Nazi, calling him Hitler, calling him worse than Hitler. And now you're like, and he met, you're talking about the VP for Hitler, and you're like, he met a right-wing German. You guys have taken those words and made them mean nothing. Nothing. So give an example. Give an example. Thank you so much, Keldrig. I weaponize my free speech to mock these retards. I am with you.
I think that's a good weaponization.
And some historic ties to extreme groups. The context.
You mean like Azov? Oh, we're not.
No, we don't talk about that. No.
Of that.
Which is funny because at the beginning of this, she's all in on, hey, we got to save Ukraine. And yeah, the AFD party has historic ties to right wing. Notice she doesn't actually say Nazi or anything there. Historic ties to right wing movements. Well, which ones? Are you afraid of getting sued? Don't worry, they're in another country. They probably won't sue you.
Was changing the tone of it. And you know that the censorship
I have to disagree with
was
you.
specifically about the right.
No, I have to disagree with you.
Wait, the censorship was specifically about the right. Are you talking about in Germany or in his speech? Because in his speech, it was specifically not. Again, he brought up that left-wing voices were silenced there, which was probably a dog whistle, if I'm being honest, right? That's how that shit works.
I think so, yeah.
Thank you, Q. Just once, I want one of these politicians to ask these retarded journalists the following question: why is far right being used as a slur? You know why? Because it works. It's why you will never see her say far left. The only time you'll see that is if there's like some kind of like what happened in Berkeley back in 2016 when they tried to burn Milo Yiannopoulos alive. And they were like, it was unknown far right fringe groups that invaded the campus. And then they won't say it again. They just move on to the next story. The only time they will say far right is to excuse loonies on their side that they can't just ignore. It's the only time they do it.
Far left.
Far left. Thank you. All right.
Free speech was not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to also be genocidal because they hated Jews and they hated minorities and they hated those that they had a list of people they hated, but primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was none. There was also no opposition in Nazi Germany. They were so.
Why was there no opposition?
Because they got killed.
Because you weren't allowed to speak against them.
Yeah. And if you did, you got disappeared, imprisoned, or killed.
Mm-hmm.
And only party that governed that country. So that's not an accurate reflection of history. I also think it's wrong. Again, I go back to the point of history.
No. God. Let me do these interviews. Fuck. You should have left it right there and made her answer for that terrible fucking analogy. Not even analogy. Historical statement is what she made there.
Yeah.
Make her answer for that. Oh, you're so bad at this. JD would have done it right. Keep Marco off TV. That's hashtag keep Marco off TV.
Speech. Okay, the point of his speech was basically that there is an erosion in free speech and intolerance for opposing points of view within Europe. And that's of concern because that is eroding.
And again, that's not it. I mean, that is part of it. He gives like 3 or 4 different things. And the free speech part of it is very important, 100%. But so is the migration part. He points out that in 2021 to 2022, or maybe it was 2020 to 2021, I forget exactly, 1 year, the immigration into Europe of non-Europeans doubled in a year. That is not sustainable. Because it would be one thing if the people were coming in like, I just really love German culture. You know, if it was like a weeaboo moving to Japan.
Yeah, but instead you get, I really like German culture if it's jihadi.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, sorry. Even Marco's not doing the speech justice. That's one part of it.
That's not an erosion of your military capabilities. That's not an erosion of your economic standing. That's an erosion of the actual values that bind us together in this transatlantic union that everybody talks about. And
again, I have to ask, is it really a shared value?
Don't think so.
When has the rest of the world been, yes, go free speech? They've always had our exception for free speech is literally you caused violence by telling somebody to go do something violent and they did it. It's not, hey, you hurt Fatty's feelings.
I think allies and friends and partners that have worked together now for 80 years should be able to speak frankly to one another in open forums without being offended, insulted, or upset. And I spoke to foreign ministers from multiple countries throughout Europe. Many of them probably didn't like the speech or didn't agree with it, but they were continuing to engage with us on all sorts of issues that unite us. So again, at the end of the day, I think that
can we stick to the point about these European leaders not agreeing with free speech? Because that's an issue. That is a huge issue for me. And we're just kind of glossing over it here, Marco. This would be a sticking point with me with them. I mean, we just, Canada, what they pulled with the truckers, man, they were shutting people's bank accounts down. You have people being arrested in the UK for disagreeing that Muslims are the rainbow, the rainbow unicorn people of the human species.
All cultures are beautiful, monkey.
Don't say that it's wrong to marry 9-year-olds. That's their culture. How dare you point out that their prophet was a pedophile? Not my definition. Look up the definition of pedophile.
Yeah.
Jaumling, I don't know if I'm saying that even close to correct. Thank you so much for becoming a member for month number 6. Just call me Steve. Somebody knows my problem with names. Thank you, Steve. Over here in Europe, free speech is dead. People are constantly locked up and fined for milquetoast social media posts. True. Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary.
And it's not just you guys. What is being exported is the clamping down on speech. Meanwhile, us, the Americans, this is a bedrock principle of our country. And for far too long, we've let the rest of the world get away with this shit. Look, we don't have to actually punish them for it, Jack, but we should be calling them out constantly.
They've also invaded our intellectual spaces and made it so that our own people detest the idea of free speech.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dangerous.
That needs to stop.
Thank you, Dangerous, who says, clearly the party who burned books. Sorry. The party that burned books utilized free speech to enact genocide. Didn't Germany feel like the Treaty of Versailles was oppressive and hence led them to supporting Hitler? It's not that they felt like the Treaty of Versailles was oppressive. It absolutely was oppressive.
Yeah.
And to put that kind of burden on Germany after World War I, look, I'm not saying they did good things, but let's be honest, everybody was pretty fucked up in World War II. World War I. There was a lot of shit in World War I. That is one of the most confusing wars.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Especially like, why were they in here again?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it just started over the dumbest shit. I mean, the killing of Archduke Ferdinand, it wasn't meaningless. He was in line to become the ruler of Austria, but it also didn't have to be what it turned into.
Yeah, but all those weird treaties everybody had and everybody felt obligated. And some people just wanted to go fight.
And then they were like, we developed this thing called mustard gas. Want to play with it?
Yeah. What's this do? This doesn't smell like my eyeballs.
Yeah. If anything, if you want to point to something that was used to foster the genocide, it was the punishment of Germany after World War I. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Thank you, Keldrig. One of the major reasons the U.S. has such a negative reputation amongst certain groups is because you are allowed to criticize us because of free speech. I guarantee a lot of other countries would have far worse reputations if free speech were allowed. Oh yeah. The French are really unhappy with Macron, but you don't really hear about it because they're not allowed to talk about it. Same in the UK and many other places. The citizens are unhappy, but their leadership doesn't know and or care.
For the record, I'm bored with Mario and nothing else really comes out of that, so we're done with him.
Marcus.
Yeah. What did I say?
Mario.
Whatever.
Do.
Mario Lopez would have said that all much better.
Oh yeah, it would have been way sexier.
Much sexier. The overall point being, I mean, this is a member of the U.S. media who hides behind the First Amendment at the drop of a fucking hat. It doesn't even have to be an actual First Amendment thing. And they're but free press, they love the First Amendment, except for the part about free speech. And then they're like, we might upset some people.
Well, they like free speech for themselves, but not everybody else, because some animals are more equal than others.
Right? And I'm tired of this shit. Look, Americans, the rest of the world, I can't do anything about, okay? But here in the U.S., we have the guaranteed right to free speech, and I will use it how I fucking see fit. Now, you have the right not to fucking listen to me. And that's cool. That's how it's supposed to work. You have the right to criticize what I say because that's how it's supposed to work. What you don't have a right to do is tell me I can't say it. And if that is your thing, that you can't say that, then get fucked. Because you're not an American. You happen to live in America, but you're actually just another authoritarian dickhole who's afraid of having any criticism leveled at him. Get fucked. I don't like you, and I hope bad things happen to you. Was that succinct enough?
Yeah, I think that pretty well sums it up. I mean, very American of you.
Backscan says you can't say names. That's not true. I just can't say all the names.
That's more of a pronunciation issue than anything else.
I call people Jack all the time when they're not him.
I bet that goes over real well.
I get so used to going right Jack or hey Jack, or because I pepper my speech with that, and I've done it with everybody who's co-hosted with me. It's just a habit. And then somebody, like, if you're not here one night and Scribbles hangs out, like, by the way, Jack, fuck, you're not Jack. By the way, Scribbles. I've done it repeatedly.
I want to watch you do that to Satsu.
I should be embarrassed by it, but I'm really not.
You do work with me more than most, so
I just know my flaws and I'm okay with them, so I figure everyone else should be too.
Well, look, most of the people that are on, they should know your flaws by now too.
True.
So that's on them more than you.
Danger says that's what's frustrating. People miss the right to association, which by definition includes the right to not associate. Yes. And if you go to Jordan Peterson, if you go way back to the C-16 bill or whatever it was, most of his stuff was about compelled speech and compelled association.
Yeah.
And you can, if you want to get together with a whole bunch of trans people, sing Kumbaya and pretend you're the opposite sex, by all means do it, but you can't force me to do it.
What?
Thank you, Frosted. He calls Satsu Blackjack. I do not. But I'm gonna start. All right, Jack, let's move along to 60 minutes. Because if there's one thing we can count on our press to do, Jack, it's to give us the skinny on what's really going on, especially if we're talking about 60 minutes.
Yeah, they're so reliable.
You know, the people that played mix and match with Kamala's answers. And
that's embarrassing.
My favorite thing about that interview is not only did they mix and match, but even taking the parts that they tried to make her sound better, it only worked for like 10 seconds. So then they had to speak over her.
Yeah. That was sad, man.
That's funny as shit. All right. So they are all up in arms about what's happening at USAID. And so they did a great piece on USAID.
Andy Chester has worked for USAID.
Andy Chester, the molester.
I was going to make that joke too.
Randy Chester has worked for US.
I'm sorry, Randy Chester, the molester. That makes it so much worse.
Randy Chester. Oh God, your parents did not think that one through.
Randy Chester. All right, Chester. He worked for USAID.
USAID 21 years under 4 presidents, 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans. He represents the agency workforce for the American Foreign Service Association.
So he's a union rep.
Yeah, basically.
For a public sector union, which shouldn't exist.
Yep.
Okay.
Doge arrived at USAID January 27th, and that same day, USAID's top 58 managers were given 45 minutes to get out.
I would have given him 58 minutes just to be funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't have given him anywhere near that long. If he wanted to be edgy boy about it, he would have given him 14 minutes and 88 seconds.
Right?
But no, Elon came in and was like, all right, I've seen what you people do, and you guys are fired. Get your shit and get out. Like, I've seen people fired and immediately security escorts them out, and somebody else is already packing their desk.
Now, I don't know if you caught the really important part of that. 58 top level managers. 58.
Why do you have 58 top level managers? That's like something you have like maybe half a dozen of if you're a huge place.
Because they don't care how they spend our money.
That's right.
Yeah.
How many of these places have ever been audited, let alone passed an audit, but have ever been audited? Because I don't think USAID has ever been audited before.
58 top level managers. That's insane.
Oh, they have like 4,000 employees, which is ridiculous for that kind of job.
Even with that many employees, you don't need that level of management.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane how many people you have that are top level. It makes no sense. Bless you.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. I've been sneezing. I did that during my game stream earlier. All right. We're going to hear about these top level managers, though.
Oh, I'm sure we are.
The 58 senior managers, how would you describe them?
A waste of my money.
Yeah.
But let's hear what Chester the Molester has to say.
They're the best professionals I've had the privilege to work with or work under.
Where's his chin?
It just gets in the way. Never mind. That's ball access. Why'd you have to ask that question?
Because it's funny.
They're the most professional people. How many of those 58 did you work with? Seriously.
Well, he made duplicate reports for each one of them.
Oh my God.
Bless you. I started doing that about an hour ago.
He worked there for 20 years. There's 58 of these fucking managers that were all fired on one day. So even if he worked for all of them, I mean, that's only 6 months for each one of them. How much could you really learn about? He doesn't know these people. Let's be honest. He was a lower level worker.
Even if he knew a couple of them, there's no way he had like close personal relations with all of them. Like he didn't know their job performance. He probably recognized them in the hallway.
But this has become a talking point. Let me get this real fast. Dangerous, thank you. One, when you're trying to uncover corruption, you should be giving people no time to cover shit up. True.
Yeah.
And two, I'm shocked that the guy trying to eliminate waste went to a place with 58 managers. Shocked, I tell you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No. 58 senior managers.
Yeah, you're not even talking like mid-level managers. These are all upper management people.
Yeah.
That's absolutely asinine. People who probably can write their own budget, give themselves raises, and I mean the waste they were putting money into, there were probably kickbacks.
Sure, of course. I mean, Mr. Public Sector Union here is here to tell us how great these people were.
Yeah, public sector unions, we were warned about them, and they never should be a thing.
No, they're extortion rackets.
Oh, absolutely.
But this thing has come up with all of the stuff Doge is doing, where everybody you hear about, like, they got fired. They were the best worker to ever work in the working works. They've never even lied. They've never sped. They follow every rule to the they are the pinnacle of perfection and humanity. Like, they're a fucking government bureaucrat. I bet you I can go to their house and find shit they stole from work.
Oh, yeah. They probably all have a case of staplers laying around.
These fucking assholes keep trying to make it sound like they're just the greatest public servants. Okay, look. Nobody gets into, like, say, going to work for USAID because they just really love Sesame Street, okay? Nobody's going to work for the IRS because their favorite thing to do is collect taxes. These are people who got jobs.
Yeah.
And they're government jobs, so they pay well, and they have the amount of security that is ridiculous. They're never going to lose their jobs, no matter how much they fuck up. And on top of that, they get unions.
Yeah, the unions that will fight for the scummiest among them. When was the last time you saw a public sector union talk about how great somebody was that was some low level that got fired for like whistleblowing? It's never happened. I'd be shocked if it ever happened in history.
But this is the kind of shit that they're doing to make it sound like they're just going after these great people who all they wanted to do was serve their country by giving away your money to people who don't deserve it or need it.
Yeah, unlike lesbian dance theory in Ugandistan or some made up shit.
I love that you just made up a country because that's usually my thing.
I know. We are apparently influencing each other in very awesome ways.
I like to see my influence spread. Keldrick, thank you. I bet he loved working under them. He looks like the type. Again, see, where is his chin?
Yeah. Yeah. If you're all gobbler from like the lower lip down, first of all, I don't think you're a man. Second of all, I tend to think that you may be doing something suspiciously turkey-like, and turkeys are dicks.
Oh, dicks were involved here, but it was balls banging off that chin that just knocked it back into his skull.
Oh my God, that's horrifying. What happened to your jaw? Oh, testicles.
You can't see because I didn't click here first, but I was doing this with my pointer, bashing his chin back.
That makes it even funnier.
Okay, let's move along.
Their integrity is without question.
Okay.
Had the privilege to work with or work under. Their integrity is without question.
I question their integrity. There you go. I hate when people say that, like their integrity is without question, because they never say that about people whose integrity hasn't been questioned.
Yeah, well, people with good integrity generally aren't accused of stuff. And when they are, there's like massive outrage. Like, how dare you accuse him of that?
Wait,
but they don't do this where his integrity was never in question. No, they say, how dare you? That it's the phrasing.
Let me put this to you. You trust my judgment, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
If I got together 58 people and I said to you, none of their integrity could ever be questioned, would you trust that? I wouldn't, and I'm the one saying it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to tell me their integrity is without question, it automatically makes you a little suspicious. Now, if you'd said, how dare they ask that about him? That's a different type of statement. I'm telling you, it's all about the phrasing.
I have known too many people who seem like really good people, and then they just disappear one day, and you're like, where'd Rhonda go? And like, oh, that bitch in jail. She was slinging meth. Like, oh, but she seemed like a nice chick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody that much. Maybe my family.
Yeah. I mean, well, most of my family.
Oh, yeah, most of my family, too. There's some of them where I'm ready to call the police. Like, I just need the reason because I know there's something dirty about this motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. I got a couple cousins like that.
Yep. Not my immediate family, the extended family.
Yeah. My immediate family, yeah, they were fine. But yeah, you get into the distant ones, or like the first cousins. No, I'm trusting you.
There's a couple of my cousins where I'm like, my friend Jack told me about criminal head shapes, and I know this motherfucker.
Right?
He got that criminal head shape.
I'm telling you, there's a lot to that. But look at this guy.
Well, in fairness, his head used to be shaped different till the ball incident.
Yeah, but the ball incident is very revealing. It's like Darwin pounded into his chin. Thank you, Frosted Glass. You've been to Ugandistan? Tell Bob I said, "Mububu ala kumata." Oh, will do. I will pass that along.
Okay.
To a person, they believe in the mission of USAID and they believe in the ideals of public service.
Okay. All right. One, stop with the I believe in the ideals of public service. Nobody goes into public service because you just want to do the best for you. Fuck off, okay? I want to do the best for my fellow man. You want to line your pockets, whether it's the Democrat way or it's the legit way of just cashing a paycheck. Stop it. All right?
Well, most people I know that have gone into public service are doing it for a stable, predictable paycheck where they can't get fired.
Nobody's doing that shit because they like audits. Fuck off. I just really hate this narrative that they're trying to put. They're the greatest people ever, and they believe in the mission of USAID. Okay. I'm going to need you to explain to me some of the spending of USAID that these 58 managers signed off on that doesn't fit the mission of USAID. Because if these were the upstanding people that you tell me they are, Elon wouldn't have found anything to tell us about. Elon would have been like, look, they're giving oxygen to this lady in Thailand so that she doesn't die. And we'd be like, yeah, I don't think it's not really my responsibility, but okay, I get it. Why are we sending 70,000 condoms to places in Africa?
Why are we funding Sesame Street shows in other countries? Why are we making transgender comic books in Peru? Why are we doing musicals and stage plays? It's fucking dumb. Waste of my money.
Well, if they do the right play on DEI, maybe those sexist Spaniards will stop being sexist.
I doubt it.
Why are we pushing DEI in countries where there's literally no diversity? I need that explained.
They want them to import more immigrants from shithole countries, I guess. I don't know.
I think as Americans, a lot of people just don't look at the world the way it really is. Yes, Europe is rapidly becoming like us because they decided to let everybody in. But most countries are homogenous racially.
Yeah, they're trying to change that, but I don't think that the priorities of places like the Congo are in fact like transgenderism. No. I think basic survival and fighting off rebel groups is probably slightly higher on their list.
Anyway, enough with ball chin here. Him and Butters could kiss and they'd fit perfectly. I have to talk about this post because it made me laugh, Jack. So 20 immigration judges were apparently fired, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. There's only 20 of them.
With more than 4 million pending immigration court cases, firing immigration judges means it will take longer to decide asylum claims. Actually, we can decide asylum claims at the border.
Yeah, we can do that now. Denied. Yep. Get out.
We don't need a long arbitration process because, once again, yes, you're allowed to come to the U.S. and claim asylum. And we're allowed to tell you no.
What?
The U.S. law that regulates this is the Refugees Act. And if you look it up, the only places, there's a select number of countries that we say, oh, yeah, we'll take refugees from there. That's asylum seekers. They are considered refugees. And if we're not taking refugees from that country, we don't have to take any asylum seekers.
Yep.
None of them. We can just be like, where are you from? Honduras. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. You're not in a war. Go away.
Get away. Go away. It's not our problem. But I just love the notion that firing 20 judges is what's going to keep the 4 million backlog cases from going forward.
That's not even remotely close to the actual numbers of illegals that are milling around in our country, mooching off of us.
Thank you, Amazing Disgrace. 87K IRS diversity hires versus 6 geniuses with the same level of access to private data. Which is worse? Hey, look, those government employees, I'm sure they would never do anything wrong with our data. They are above reproach. How dare you, sir?
Just ask Lois Lerner. Fucking A, man.
Justice Department fires 20 immigration judges from backlog courts amid major government cuts.
Oh, no.
Again, we can get rid of these people pretty simply. We don't even have to let them in the country. Where are you from? I'm from Ecuador. We're not taking refugees from there. Get out. Thanks.
So the catapult.
Thanks for playing. Bye.
Yeah, please step into the trebuchet.
You're not our problem, and I'm tired of this country pretending that these people are my problem because they're just not.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to talk about Elon and Ashley St. Clair. God. I made a joke on Twitter a while ago, long enough ago that I feel I might be responsible, Jack.
Oh, you hooked these people up? Good job, monkey.
I said something to the effect of, Elon, would you just mount her? She clearly wants it, or something like that.
Apparently he was.
Because she was so dick riding this guy, which I really don't care. For those of you who don't know, Ashley St. Clair just announced that she had a baby, 6 months ago or something like that with Elon?
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 months ago.
I thought she was married.
I thought she was too, but apparently not.
She wasn't married enough to not fuck Elon.
Well, I don't think he minds that much.
But I need to address some shit that I heard about this. This is from Melissa Chen, who I typically agree with. But in this case, I'm just so annoyed with this. So somebody says not to her, but they tweeted and she retweeted this. Sooner or later, you'll understand. They'd rather be a king's concubine than a peasant's wife. Money talks, and it always has been pay to play. To which Melissa Chen basically agrees, and I can read hers. It says, in general, women exchange sex for resources, men exchange resources for sex. That being said, being a man's one and only beats out being a man, or being one of many, a man's afterthought, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I think Ashley's a gold digger, okay? I don't think she finds Elon sexy. I think she finds his money hot as fuck. I think she thinks whoever raises this kid with me is going to be well off on Elon's dime. Because it ain't going to be Elon. He gonna push you aside.
He kind of already has.
But this notion, have you seen him in public with her?
No, but she was staying at a penthouse in New York, or I don't know if it was a penthouse, but some upper level thing that was like $45,000 a month that he was paying for.
But here's the thing. There are a ton of women, and I know this because I watch daytime TV, who will fuck a broke-ass motherfucker who's already got 8 kids.
Yeah.
All with different mamas. Not like Elon, who's got, what, 4 baby mamas now, I think it is?
Yeah, 13 kids by 4 women.
Yeah. And they're not doing it because they'd rather be a king's concubine. They're doing it because women think they can fix men.
And they like money.
Yeah. It's men have a same problem with women, but that usually ends up with us being killed because we're like, she couldn't be that crazy.
Yeah, and then you're on investigation discovery.
Yeah, and turns out the guy she's always really loved killed you for her.
Yeah, because she was just trying to make him jealous.
Yeah, I think Ashley saw this and was like, I could fix him because it's a innately human thing. Now, not all of us are like that, but enough of us are like that. We can't sit here and pretend, though, that it's they only will fuck rich guys if they got a bunch of kids already. Because I've seen Maury Povich, okay? And ain't one of them bitches was after somebody's money, because Pookie ain't making that much.
Yeah. I don't know what her motivation was, but it does look like she got pregnant in the hopes of him hanging around or getting some of his money. And whatever the motivation, it does not look pure. So if she had pure motivations, I would kind of be surprised. But she's going to get a big pile of money out of this either way, because he's on the hook for child support for the next 20 years.
She thought she was going to get to live at the mansion with the rest of his kids. Yeah, I mean, I can see both look, I watched their interactions on Twitter, not on purpose. I just happened to follow both of them. And I actually stopped following her because of how much dick riding she was doing of Elon. And this predates when they conceived the child. I don't know when they started humping. But she was so desperate for his attention.
Some would say thirsty.
Thirsty, yeah. She needed a drink. Nom, 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 nom. Forgot to swallow.
Apparently.
Be careful spitting. That can land anywhere. I don't really care. I just hate this notion that no, it's only because he's rich. No, women do this shit with broke bitches all the time too.
Yeah.
Who is that? I mean, there was that one guy who had like 18 kids by a bunch of different women on Australia's welfare, whatever it's called down there.
Oh,
do you remember that story?
Yeah.
Them bitches wasn't getting paid. They weren't being a king's concubine. They was being a bum's concubine. Yeah, look, Ashley might be a gold digger, and if she is, so be it. But stop pretending that a whole bunch of you women wouldn't do the same thing for a guy who's not even making minimum wage. Because I've seen it. Stop it. You had sent me something that I wanted to watch, and I don't remember. Oh, fuck. You didn't send it to me. You have sent me some stuff that I did not. Why aren't they telling me when you send me stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. That I think I'm shadow banned or something. I pissed somebody off. No, and everybody ignores me.
You had a video. We need to find it. It was the one I didn't even see it because you posted it. I saw it because Becca responded to you with the magnet thing, and then you said about having her walk past an MRI.
Yeah. I know.
Since we watched the media give us some bad historical takes earlier, I thought this one would be fun to watch now. This lady is going to talk to us about geopolitics. Let's count the warning sign, shall we?
I don't know if I can count that high.
We're going to start at the top of the head here. We have 3 different colors of hair. So that's 1. We have shaved side. That's 2. We have the eye or the bridge of the nose piercing. So 3. We'll just give the nose itself a 4. 5 with what's going on with her lip there.
The cold sore or the other stuff?
All of it. Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice the cold sore. So we're up to at least 7. And I'm going to give her another 3 for the number of chins she has. That was funny. I don't care what y'all think. And she's got one of those weird piercings way up here, which isn't necessarily a sign, but it's a caution. It's a caution. Just saying.
It's part of the collective uniform of it.
Now, I will say this. When I'm looking for my takes on geopolitics, if I can't get them from Hassan, I look for somebody like this because I know I'm about to hear some truth.
Yeah, it's true.
She about to spit some truth. Not truth. That's a whole different thing. All right, Tubby, take it away. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be mean, but when you choose to look like this, Hey, don't judge a book by its cover. How am I supposed to judge the book then? How am I supposed to know if I'm interested in it?
Yep.
Your book looks like a retard. All right.
He's preparing for a world war. His red, white, and blue land, which, quick history lesson, it was named Greenland to attract more people to come there because it's like 90% ice and like 10% green land.
Okay.
Thanks for that thing we all learned in like 8th grade and thought was amazing.
Yeah. Apparently Trump said, he wants to take over Greenland, name it red, white, and blue land. And this has really upset this lady and made her think that that's him telling the world that he's ready for World War III.
Oh, don't worry. There is an overarching nemesis here.
Yes, she has deeper meaning.
Yeah, this is just the beginning, you guys. Greenland is the key to everything. If you understand that, you understand the world.
Dark Resurrect, thank you so much for that feminist $12. I believe I saw this person in my psychology book. It was in the chapter labeled attention-seeking behavior.
Right?
But I will guarantee you this is one of those people that says, I don't even want people to look at me.
I'm trying to avert the male gaze because I'm too beautiful.
I don't want the attention. I just like a retarded peacock that fell into a box of tacks because I like it.
Why are you ignoring me? You said you didn't want male attention. But I want you to listen to me. Which is it?
I have the herpaderp. All right. You think she got that from her girlfriend's genitals?
She probably got them. I'm going to refrain from comment because we'll get in trouble if I say what I'm thinking.
I'm just saying that's not her only scabbed lip.
Yeah, well, I agree with that.
Oh, there's a great pause face.
So it's not like the best place to live.
Okay, you've obviously not been paying attention because Trump's not like, we need to find places for our people to live.
Yeah, he's not imposing like mandatory relocation to inhabit the land so we can claim it as ours because we have people living there.
Jesus Christ. All right. See, the first time I watched this, I didn't know where she was headed with this. And right there, I did pause it. I'm like, wait, did I miss something? Was he like repopulating the place?
I mean, maybe, but no. Yeah, let's see what Timu Curly here has to say.
It's pretty cold. And
I wonder if she's been to like Montana or South Dakota or Minnesota.
Probably not.
It's pretty cold.
Well,
Alaska.
She just said it was covered in snow, so that kind of implies that it's pretty cold.
We have people who live in the wilderness of fucking Alaska.
Right? And who love it there.
Yeah.
They're like, this is awesome.
Naming it red, white, and blue land makes it sound fucking stupid.
Fuck you, commie. Oh,
I will give you red, white, and blue land sounds stupid. We should just name it America Land.
Yeah. America Land North.
He's preparing for a world war. What better way to help Russia advance their war?
What?
Apparently, to help Russia advance their war, you need to rename Greenland.
Like you do. I mean, it makes sense, right? This is first step one of Putin's master plan: rename Greenland.
Don't worry, guys. She's got a deeper thought than that. It's just that with what she said so far, that's literally what she just said. Is that Trump renaming it red, white, and blue land helps Putin? Okay. She looks like somebody. She looks like somebody from the internet, and I can't place who.
Well, she looks like Curly. Like she's gonna do the Curly shuffle.
That's mean to Curly.
It is, but he's been dead a long time, and I think he'll be okay with the analogy.
I never saw Curly with herpes.
No, I didn't either, but that's why she's Timu Curly. She's discount.
Thank you, Keldrig. I propose we call Greenland Better California to insult the Californians. All right, here's the master plan, you guys. Here it comes.
Then purchasing land that they can access to get to closer to the east side of the continent, or the west side of the continent.
Yeah, they are on the east side, sweetie.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. So their plan is to create a staging area in Greenland so they can strike Europe?
Yeah.
That's the worst fucking plan ever. She's clearly never played Risk.
I mean, you could just stage in Russia.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you want to go after Europe, you could probably go for the Baltic countries, be a better choice, or come up through Africa with some migrants.
There's a whole bunch of ways of getting there that don't have to do with like the Black Sea and shit.
Yeah.
But even if they did, the Russians control most of the Black Sea. Yeah, that's Donald Trump's plan to start World War III is for us, the United States, to buy Greenland so that Putin can stage his troops and equipment for an invasion of Europe.
Yeah, I mean, your first tactical target in Europe is, of course, Iceland because of the strategic location.
First of all, she mixes up and says that to get to the west, I mean, she said east and then correct herself to west, just for the record, but to get to the west side of the continent, which if my geography is correct, Russia can already get to because that's Asia. And then when you get into Europe, going around the sea, probably not the smartest way to do that.
No, that's a terrible fucking plan. It's a logistical nightmare. You know how many boats you would need when you could just march through Belarus and Lithuania and be right there?
Yep.
Like, come on. Yep. The Iron Curtain is so much easier to get through. You could just roll tanks and planes through there and obliterate any of their so-called cities because they're not that big.
Devil Fruit says,
yeah,
hello.
Iceland would be a better option, man, but
Devil Fruit says, what the fuck is that thing? This is proof that Hassan is not the dumbest person on the internet. I'm sorry, Jack. We must have picked up a little bit of a lag there. What were you saying?
I'm just saying, Matt said Iceland was a better option. Yeah, it really is, but this is a convoluted, idiotic plan by a special needs child. I don't understand why you wouldn't just go through all the poor countries in Europe. Like, they're already in Ukraine. They could just use the Black Sea or go through Odessa, and then you're already into Europe.
Yeah, they can get to all of Europe pretty easily by land. There's no reason to stage it in either Greenland or Iceland.
Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever.
No. Because if you were going to do an invasion of Europe, you're not going to start with England, which would be the only reason you're going to move all your troops up to one of those two countries.
Yeah.
You march across. You reverse Napoleon that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyhow, there's our geopolitical lesson of the day, which all I can think of is, God damn, she's dumb. Her dumbness actually made me forget how fucking freaky she looked.
Which is impressive.
Yeah, because that's a freaky looking bitch.
Yeah.
There was one more I know I wanted to cover before. This is from a couple of days ago, so give me a second. I don't care about that. Man, we got to do something about white women, man. Oh, it's this guy. Okay. This is David Beyer, I think is how you say it. He is a Constitute Director of Immigration Studies at Cato.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's an important muckety muck. who doesn't understand the English language. He's upset about this order that's come down where different countries have agreed to take our illegals.
Yeah.
And they're not the countries they came from. On Wednesday, an American military flight deported Asian immigrants who were in the U.S. immigration custody to Panama, the first known deportation of its kind under the Trump administration. They included adults and families with children from Afghanistan, China, India, Russia, and Uzbekistan, according to the documents.
That makes sense with the Chinese since they have a lot of agents in Panama.
This guy says, this is insane. The U.S. government is dumping Asians and African. Did they say is one of those countries African?
No, I don't think so.
Afghanistan, China, India, Iran, and Uzbekistan.
Maybe Uzbekistan he thinks is in Africa. I don't know.
Those are okay. All right. Who are we? This is insane. The U.S. government is dumping Asian, and I didn't even catch that when I read that the other day. Asians and African families and children.
Oh, not just the families without children, but the ones with children? That's insane. What are they thinking?
In random countries they have no connection to.
Boo-hoo.
Dumping, not deporting. Deporting implies the return of a person to their home country.
Well, I don't care where they end up. That's a them problem. Don't break into other countries, asshole.
No, don't give him a pass on that. That is not even close to what deporting means. He's thinking of repatriation.
Yeah.
Those are two entirely different. Deporting just means removing you from the country.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with where you go back to.
So he's not an English major or a geography major.
No, he sucks at both. Yeah, this just pissed me off. Like, it implies. You not understanding the word doesn't mean it implies it. Deporting them to their home country implies deporting them to their own country. Deporting just means kicking them out. That's all it means.
Yeah.
But they got to add to it because stupid people will be like, yeah, that's right. Why are we doing this? One, because their home countries are a lot more expensive to send them to. And if we can get them cheaper out of our country, cool. We have no obligation to take them back to their home.
No, we have no obligation to these people at all. Get out of our country. If you don't want to end up in some other third world shithole, maybe you should go back to the one you came from.
I say we give them a piece of wood the size that Jack and Rose were on at the end of Titanic and wish them fucking luck out to sea.
Yeah, well, I'm not opposed to that either.
Good luck. I hope one of you guys can swim.
Time to learn.
I'm just so tired of these people. They just don't understand words or laws or any of this shit. No, but we can't be mean to the illegals. Fuck them.
That's where I'll disagree with you. They understand them. They just have zero respect for ours.
Adabisi, thank you so much. Who says, howdy, monk. No need to read this. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And thank you, Adabisi, for the generous donation. Yay, Jack. Howdy, Jack. No need to read this. Well, why wouldn't I? Are you still in the Philippines? Are you having a good time? Have you gotten a massage? Because there's some great massage parlors.
All right. Was there anything else? No, not there. Wait. Oh, yeah. I did not respond to that. I want to.
Fort Natives idea.
What's that?
Here's some spoon and some shark repellent.
There you go. Get out.
Yeah, look, I understand why some people would overstay their visa. I get that. Like they're trying to finish school or whatever, or they just really like it here. They didn't think they would. But the people that come across the border illegally, they know what they're doing. I have zero sympathy if they end up in some other country and they have to wander home. Fuck off. Not my problem. Go away. Oh, this asshole.
Okay, on our screen there is Vladimir Zelenskyy.
World's greatest beggar.
This shitbag, I don't even know what words I want to call him. He's a bad person. He's just a bad person.
That's really underselling it.
It sucks that our government got involved in Ukrainian politics and gave them Poroshenko, which led to... How come all of the people like... Trump's just a reality TV star. Never say that kind of shit about this douchebag.
Because he's the sainted leader of Ukraine, which is holier than any other country, because they're a bunch of fucking authoritarian douche nozzles.
So to the Ukrainian folks, yeah, sorry the CIA got involved there. I don't like them either. They gave you this shit, and it led to the problems that we're seeing with Russia and Ukraine right now, and a bunch of your people getting killed before the war ever kicked off, and nobody seemed to care.
Yeah.
But this man is a shitbag.
Corrupt shitbag.
Anyway, we just need to watch a couple of seconds of this. Don't worry, he's not going to talk. He's done. Standing ovation for that shitbag. Okay, we only watched that so we can look at the tweet that accompanied it.
Oh, no.
Listen to the applause Zelenskyy received in Munich. Well, they do like their corrupt dictators. This is what it sounds like to celebrate democracy instead of destroying it.
What democracy? He outlawed other parties. He arrested priests because they were dissidents. Any kind of vocalization against what he's doing has been silenced. And he employs literal Nazis.
He also canceled their election.
Yeah, more than once, as I recall.
This is what it's like to celebrate democracy from the guy who canceled elections.
Yes. Ridiculous. Oh,
are you insane?
That's why there's a fundamental misunderstanding of what democracy is on the left, because they're all authoritarians. So what he's doing is perfectly fine to them. Real fast, though. Thank you, Adabisi. Yep, I paid extra to extend my visa, but the massage is here. I might become an illegal here. Yeah, the best massage we'll ever have is in Thailand, in the Philippines. Thailand is second. But for $10, you can get an amazing massage, and you will fall in love with every masseuse out there, because no matter how ugly she is, their fingers are magic. They dance on your back, and they massage deep tissue. Oh, man, it's some sort of wizardry they have over there.
You know, this one video you sent is 12 minutes long?
Yes, I did think we would get to it, because I didn't know how much stuff you had.
I kind of want to watch it. Can we save that one till tomorrow?
Sure.
Because we're gonna need
I'll
time.
DM it to you. So
yeah.
Otherwise, I'll forget.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I do want to see it because I saw what the tweet said and I'm interested, but we're already an hour and a half in.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly interesting one, but yeah, we'll check it out next time.
When this one first came up, I thought that was Charlie from Always Sunny.
I could see that.
And it's because it actually, there's like half a second back where I can't get it to go back to, where you could only see like this part of his face.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. I did not read what this one says. Is that it? Okay. This is an aside because I thought that dude had no shirt on. So the other day we went down and stayed with the kids so my daughter and her husband could go to a retreat for Valentine's Day.
Aww.
And we kept all three of them. And it's been a long time since I've been responsible for a 4-month-old, but it was fucking awesome, dude. The 4-month-old at one point decided grandpa's not allowed to sit anymore and hold her.
Standing only.
No.
Oh.
Walking only.
Oh my God.
Or at the very least, swaying. which I don't mind because the girls have always loved that, and my kids too. And I love that they love that about me, right? But it did take its toll on me. However, for a child who makes as much noise as she does eating, she sounds like she's never had a bottle before when she has one. Oh my God, give it to me, give it to me. She doesn't spit up very much. She'll burp, but she doesn't spit up. But she got me one time, just all over my shirt. So I pass her off to Lady Monkey, and I take off my shirt to go get a new one. And the middle child yells out, "Why are you naked?"
That's something they've heard before.
Well, she, especially when she was a little bit younger, would run around naked if you didn't catch her immediately.
Yep. Why are you naked? Kids love that shit. I think it's the funniest thing ever to run around naked.
All I could think is she's going to go to school and they're going to be like, "What'd you do this weekend? Grandpa came over and got naked." That child amazes me. All right. Anyway, sorry, the fat guy back here who is so white he blends in with his white shirt. That is bothering me. Anyhow, I don't know what this one's about, so let's find out, ladies and gents.
What is something weird about conservatives?
There is almost a cultish vibe, I feel. The way they operate within themselves, they refuse to listen to outside people, they're refusing to learn, essentially. I think that is a large part of it.
What is something?
Yeah. This is the person saying that conservatives are cultish.
Yeah, this is the juggalo leftist who got their boobs off.
Yeah.
I have so many problems with that.
Haven't we watched this before?
I don't know, but I found it and I was like, we should watch this. This is funny.
No, it's always worth bringing this. This is one we could bring back like once a year and it would still be fun. But the only reason I say that is because I swear you're the one who introduced it to me live one time. I hadn't seen it.
Oh, probably. I forget which clips we've watched. Mostly because I forget which ones I've watched.
If I'd gone forward just a little bit to where I just remember that face with the green hair and everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't really tell juggalos apart too much.
I can't tell most of these people apart too much.
Yeah. Do you want to watch Maxine Waters?
Do I?
I mean, no, but you probably could.
Yeah. Bring that up. Holy shit. There's all of this stuff that it just said now has told me all these people. If you guys have sent me a DM and I didn't respond to you, I apologize. I don't know why Twitter's been like this lately. Why y'all being dicks?
Paul Stanley.
I did watch the Willie Mack video on Destiny, and it pissed me off because he does go in on Destiny, but he spends about half of the video just bitching about the people who expose Destiny.
Yeah, I only got about halfway through that one. It was very scattered. It didn't seem like it was as cohesive as his normal videos.
Well, the majority of it is just mad that the guy named President Sunday didn't talk to the person and see if she wanted this to be known. And I'm like, I get that, but as I said the other day, I'm tired of people getting away with being shitty because a woman might be uncomfortable about exposing the shitty behavior somebody did to them.
Yeah.
Even if you want to get in there, they shouldn't have done this. But the real villain here is Destiny. It's not the people who expose Destiny. It's him.
Spending too much time on these peripheral characters dilutes that fact.
Oh my God. Why is Maxine Waters? Oh, that's not Maxine Waters, dude.
Is it?
No, that's the mayor of Philadelphia.
Oh.
And I know because...
Oh, yeah. Okay. My bad.
No, you're fine.
I mean, it's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't until I heard what she yelled at the beginning of this that I'm like, I know who that is because my wife told me about this story when it happened. So
sorry, I looked at the clip and I thought, she looks a lot like Maxine Waters.
If you pay attention, though, she's way too young to be Maxine. She doesn't have enough face wrinkles.
I don't want to make eye contact with Maxine Waters. I might turn to stone. I've seen what Gorgons can do, so I just kind of glanced. So yeah, sorry, younger Maxine Waters.
All right, we need just so you guys know, it's going to get really loud here in a second, so turn your volume down, whatever you need to. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
ELGLES Eagles!
That is the mayor of Philadelphia, where the Eagles are the professional football team, misspelling Eagles.
Yeah. And I thought if anybody in the audience would appreciate how funny this is, it'd be Eagle.
Yeah. And here she is. If I remember correctly, she fucked something else up after the game too.
Yeah.
Or she misspelled it again.
She's done it a couple of times apparently.
And I'm with her because Eagles shouldn't have an A in it. It's another one of those goddamn things where we're like, we need an extra letter in there to confuse kids when they're learning to spell.
I mean, it's funny. So
it's mean. And the only reason I like it is because it confuses foreigners.
I guess
and
there's that.
That makes me happy. What is that one? Oh no, already did that.
Did you get the second video on there?
The other one wasn't a video.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it didn't play. Okay, yeah, that's my bad. I moved it over there, but I didn't see a play button, so I didn't think there was anything to it. All right. We'll do that, and then that, just to make sure it's loaded all the way.
Reminded us all through their excellence that nothing is possible when we work together.
I'm sorry.
That's right. Nothing is possible when we work together.
It's not usually how I've heard that phrased. It's usually a little bit more upbeat. A little bit.
But I guess if she's on your committee, nothing's going to happen.
Nothing can be accomplished when we work together, ladies and gentlemen. And that is why I'm against multiculturalism. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's why I'm against teamwork.
You know, I get making mistakes in public speaking. It happens. But some of the ones that we get from our leaders, man.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
I don't need them to be polished, you know?
Just not retarded.
Yeah. Reminded us that nothing is possible. What she meant to say, there's nothing we can't do. She mixed up her bullshit feel-good phrases.
Yeah, nothing is impossible.
Nothing is possible.
Just give up. Don't try.
That is better than the misspelling of Eagles, if I'm being honest. I like that way more than her misspelling. And look, I give people a pass on misspelling. I suck at spelling. Always have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, same here.
It's why I get angry about how we spell shit.
Pass me that knife.
I do want to address this because I was asked if it was kind of put it to a challenge to me to address things that Trump has done. I'm going to just do this real fast. Trump talking to Russia. I'm okay with Trump talking to Russia. The Biden administration's refusal to speak to Russia is fucking stupid. And in fact, the Face the Nation thing earlier with Margaret Brennan, she's like, you guys talk to Russia, but then and Biden wouldn't do it. You should not have absolutely no communication.
No, that's how you ended up with dangerous situations during the Cold War.
Yeah. And we especially shouldn't be like, hey, we're not going to talk to you because you invaded them. They're not even an ally of ours, for fuck's sake.
No, but it was Biden's money laundering hub.
But I have no problem with Trump talking to Putin. Trump being a bully in the Middle East, and this is in regards apparently to taking over Gaza. Don't give a shit. I really don't. I've heard of worse plans for Gaza, like letting the Gazans stay there.
Yeah, the Palestinians have done nothing but attack Israel, so maybe it's time to rethink our strategy that clearly isn't working.
If Netanyahu wants to give that to us so we can make a beachside resort in Israel, I'm okay with it. But what about the Palestinians? I want to be very clear on this. Fuck them. And what about the people? They're not all terrorists. They elected the terrorists.
And they also abducted people during the October 7th massacre.
Helped with them.
Civilians were kidnapping people and holding them hostage.
They were hiding them all along. I mean, the one time they went in and found a bunch of hostages, they weren't in Hamas hands. They were in regular people hands.
Yeah.
We saw the stuff with like the UN there in Gaza, and Israel's like, the UN's working with them. Like, no, we're not. And what they find underneath the UN building there? Hamas tunnels with hostages.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of the narrative. Look, I think we should let them fight it out, mostly because I think the Israelis would kick the shit out of them. But I don't care about what's going on over there. That's their shit. And Israel is finally coming around to the realization that you cannot negotiate with terrorists. You just can't.
Yeah. And this old blood feud needs to be resolved.
Hamas and the Palestinian Authority are terrorist organizations. And trying to appease them is never going to work. If they don't want to melt into greater Israeli society, fuck them. Get out. Go to one of those Middle Eastern countries that's so willing to take you and your terrorist shitheads.
Oh, wait, that's nobody, because they tried to overthrow the Egyptians and the Jordanian governments.
Yeah, and when you're talking about the West Bank and Gaza, one borders Jordan, one borders Egypt, and they're both like, fuck no.
Yeah, when your own neighbors won't take you, maybe you're the asshole.
What does that say? Hamas grew the Palestinian Authority? What are the Palestinian Authority? No, Hamas and the Palestinian Authority are two different things. Palestinian Authority arises out of the PLO. Hamas arises out of the Muslim Brotherhood. And they were vying for control going back to 1996 or 2006, sorry. And in the West Bank, they're like, no, we want the Palestinian Authority. And in Gaza, they're like, no, we want Hamas. And this is why, especially Gaza, I don't give a shit about them. They chose the worst of the two terrorist organizations. These are literally organizations that the U.S. has called terrorist organizations.
For what, 3 generations now?
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't new.
And my favorite part of all of this is that they elected terrorists, and nobody's pointed out how bad that means democracy is.
Yeah.
All democracy means is the mob won. I've never seen an uprising in Gaza that wasn't against the Jews. So the Jews pull out of Gaza completely. They just, fuck it, we'll take all of our people out. And left all of the infrastructure there. They didn't destroy it on the way out. They left the water pumps. They left the electricity. All of that shit controlled by the Gazans, and they've just destroyed it all.
Yeah. Yeah. They really want to live in the 7th century.
Yeah. So what do I think of him bullying the Middle East? If you're dealing with bullies, which terrorists are, you need a bully, or at least somebody stands up to them. You can't appease them, period. What else was on here? And the overall view of Europe in this. Well, if you're talking about in Gaza, again, I don't really think it's any of our business. If a country wants to get in there and help them, fine. I don't want my money necessarily going to it. But when it comes to Ukraine, if it's anybody's problem, it's Europe's problem, not mine.
Yeah.
They're the ones that if Russia were to take over Ukraine and be right there on Poland's door, oh my God. It's the Europeans that got to worry, not me.
Oh, yeah. It's unseemly to point that out, though.
There was also, I got asked after the show that Undoomed was on about some stuff we were talking about on there. And how it was seemingly contradictory. One particular part was Undoom talking about how he had his own business and it was rough going. They were working so hard and they were sleeping on the floor because they were so busy and trying to get work done. They slept when they could at the office.
Okay.
And the person didn't see how that could be enjoyable, because he even said it was miserable. Not the guy, but Undoomed used the term. It was miserable. I feel like here in the West, no, I don't want to say I feel like, I know here in the West, we have a problem with the notion of a grind being worth it, of going through miserable circumstances for an outcome that you're seeking.
Well, did Miley Cyrus teach us this? It's all about the climb?
It's about the climb. Putting your everything into it to get that final goal. Yeah, it's miserable while you're doing it, but it's worth it in the end. And that seemed to be what this person was missing in the conversation that we had. That you can go through a miserable experience, but the overall is still better than nothing, or better than not getting what you wanted. And I think about this. I was thinking a lot about the Undoomed saying that, how they slept at the office and they would crunch real hard and get stuff. And looking at the video games industry, Jack. Because years and years and years ago, as one of my favorite games comes out, Red Dead Redemption 2, a pissed off wife at Rockstar writes a letter to whom it may concern and releases it to the whole world about how horrible it is her husband has to work at crunch time. He had to work so hard. And you hear stories about the olden days of making video games, Jack, where that's what the guys did. They would get in there, and as you're getting closer to release, everything in your being is about getting that game out.
Yeah, that's part of the job.
But not anymore, because we had to, feminize it. You need to have that work-life balance. Who cares if the product's a little inferior as long as you got to sleep 8 hours in your bed?
Look, we all want to do that, but that's not realistic. Sometimes you have to work on a project, pull an all-nighter to fix something that was wrong, and get it done. That's what work is. We're so alienated from manual labor anymore. People don't really seem to understand or grasp the concept of dedication.
Black Romeo says, I know you don't like the games, but Dark Souls is a good example of that. Those games are punishing, but beating a boss is rewarding. Yeah, I don't have to like the games to understand that, because in the games that I play, there's parts that are punishing, but once you get it, it's like, Now imagine doing that, but you're doing it for something that actually matters rather than just a game.
Yeah, especially if you have money on the line.
Yeah, like making the game or making a movie project or whatever it is. We've just gotten so comfortable around here that it's like we should only work 4 days a week. And if
we haven't gotten comfortable, we've gotten lazy.
Same thing. The notion of putting in that extra work to get the reward, even a lot of things you go through in life suck, but they're rewarding in the end.
Yeah, well, Dangerous just said farmers have to get up before the sun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of I've been around a lot of farmers over the years. They complain all the time about the weather, but they really do like what they do.
Sure.
They don't see it. If you really like what you're doing, you don't see it as work. That's very true in a lot of circumstances.
Well, as a boxing fan, I think about boxing. You and me, even in our youth, trying to do the exercises, say Mike Tyson did, getting ready for a championship fight, would be not worth it because we're not fighters.
No, and we'd be barfing all over the place because of the level of work.
But for him, it was totally worth it.
Oh, yeah. He wanted to be the best. And to be the best, you have to train harder. You have to work smarter. You have to put the actual effort in.
In the past, you had to work longer hours in some businesses to get things done. True. And some things that we've made shortcuts or have been made easier by technology. But a lot of stuff still isn't. And if you know any gamers, we will all tell you how rare it is for a game to come out and not be a buggy fucking mess on day one.
Yeah.
That did not used to be the way it was. And part of that is that the systems are more complex now, Jack, but part of it is you're not allowed to make these people actually do their jobs anymore because it might make their wife sad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Why would we ever want to push humanity? Like, sometimes you have to be pushed a little bit to find out whether or not you can hack it. And you can achieve greatness that way by just being pushed a little bit. That's how you grow. You find out your limitations. And if you never challenge yourself or you're never challenged by others, you won't grow as a person. You'll just kind of be this faceless blob that blends in with everybody else.
I think about it also from a military standpoint. Whether you've been around the military or Band of Brothers, if you've seen it, is a great example of this. You will often find that, like in Band of Brothers, Easy Company went through hell because of Captain Sobel. He was a shitty person, just a shitty person. But what he put those men through, they were the elites there.
Yeah.
And my dad had a guy that he went through basic with that he absolutely hated. But he credits with making him a good sailor. Because as shitty as it was to go through, it's what he needed to go through to get to where he wanted to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you have to go through that storm in order to be better on the other side. It's just the way life is. Life is not easy.
Mm-mm.
I don't know why people get this idea that you're entitled to some kind of comfort all the time. It's not that way.
But because we have such comfortable lives, how many of us have to grow our own food? I mean, back in the day, if you didn't grow your own food, you were at least making something.
Yeah, you were contributing to something that would let you exchange those services for food.
Goblet of fire. Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said for perseverance. And you can even admit that something sucked to go through and still see the value of going through it.
Yeah.
To relate it to myself, because I'm a narcissist, what's gone on with my neck, Jack, has sucked, but it has made me a better person. It's made me a more patient person. It's made me a more thoughtful person. And I don't wish it on anybody, but I'm not real sorry I've gone through it.
Don't worry, buddy. We're going to get you a Neuralink and make you cybernetic.
I don't want to go through it. And if I had the choice, I'd say no, but I have come out a better person on the other side. There's a lot of stuff like that in your life where, yeah, it sucks in the moment, but you're better for it.
Yeah.
And it bothers me that people can't see that, or that the notion of it is alien to people.
Well, we have a very spoiled society, let's be honest. Real quick, thank you, Keldrick. Pushing your limits and challenging yourself is so integral to growing as a person. It used to be something we incorporated into education from the earliest years of school.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I understand. Look, I am a pretty lazy person. But dear God, if you don't put work into what you're doing, you're never going to do anything with your life. You will achieve nothing. And to remove that even little bit of nudge that people need, they will stagnate. And as a civilization, we will never advance because we will never find those people like Elon Musk who have potential to do something great and innovate. All those scientists, all those people work ridiculous amounts of time trying to get the rockets to work right and make them reusable. We would never have any of that technology if everybody was like, oh, well, I'm knocking off for the day. Bye, guys.
Yeah, I hate the whole work-life balance thing, which, by the way, is mostly a chick thing, okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's part of their nesting.
Well, some people got mad at me for suggesting it was a female thing. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
And it comes from feminism. This goes back to, I believe, the 60s is when this starts coming up as a concept. But yeah, it's a feminist thing. It's feminist terminology.
Yeah, and look, I always say that lazy people are great because you can get them to find a way to do something in a much more efficient way. But they have to have that drive. Like, you have to force them to do something, and then they're like, all right, how can I make this easier? Without that push, and you're just like, oh, well, get to it when you can, work-life balance, that's not actually challenging them. You're just like, you're enabling their laziness.
The work-life balance was that same commenter, at least one of the people who said it to me. And they're like, all of it is a work-life balance. And technically, yes, but the term itself, it means that you have, to your own satisfaction, a balance of work and life, your other life, your kids, your family, your hobbies, that your work is never too much. It doesn't intrude too much in your life.
Oh, yeah, I got to have that perfect balance. No, nobody has that. That's a fantasy. It's like unicorns and pay raises every quarter. No, it just doesn't happen. Life's not that good.
It can happen if you have certain jobs. Like if you're a bank teller and the bank closes at 4 or 5, whatever banks close at, you're done for the day, you get to go home. Then there's other jobs where, hey, we have to get this order out by tonight. We need you to stay and finish working on that machine to get it going.
And look at the difference in what is achieved. A rocket scientist pulling an all-nighter is going to achieve something significantly greater as breakthroughs go than your average barista or bank teller.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are not the innovators. Sorry.
Emos says, true, work-life balance wasn't relevant until women got in the workforce. And it's true. And I don't blame women for it. Women and men are different. And until we acknowledge that and actually run the society that way, we're going to have these problems where a wife is getting mad because her husband worked too long.
Yeah, that's fucking dumb. I got a couple stacked up here. Thank you, Frosted Glass. I knew this lady would throw a total bitch fit just because her husband had to do his job. Listen, lady, that's just how life works. Grow up. But her husband was a damn fine kamikaze pilot. Well, once. Kind of hard to beat that record. And thank you, Evolved Potato. As the poet Kenny Rogers once said, you've got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.
Every gambler knows the secret to surviving. You know, fuck up and make me sing.
Run away from crazy bitches so they don't get to stab you.
Shroom says, I work 75 to 80 hours a week to ensure that my wife and son had the lives I wanted them to have. Yeah, in my own life, I mean, you think my dad wanted to be away from home 6 months out of most years?
Probably not.
But it was part of the job, and that paid the bills, and that kept us fed and clothed and a roof over our head.
Yeah, it kept you guys alive and kept everything moving along. A lot of people hate their jobs. That doesn't mean you can be like, oh, work-life balance. Most people can't do that. It's just it's just life. You have to accept that life is not going to be your ideal version. Very few people can achieve that.
You also have the quiet quitting that they tried recently, where it's like, I'm only going to do my job. Well, how about we start with you just doing your job? That would be an improvement for a lot of you motherfuckers who embrace that shit.
And good luck never advancing in your chosen field too.
Yeah. But no, you should still get ahead, because some guys who worked a lot longer, they got ahead.
Yeah, but who put the effort in and sacrificed.
And, in fairness, some women too. But the amount of people who think working and learning more stuff and going the extra distance is sucking up. It's not sucking up. It's just doing the job well.
Yeah.
Sucking up is telling the boss, I really like your tie.
Oh my God, boss, you're the coolest. Your style is so unique.
Your boss saying, hey, I need this done, and you having the time to do it, I'll do it. That's not sucking up. That's doing your fucking job.
That's called teamwork.
Fuck, man. But anyway,
the people that volunteer to do that extra work are usually the ones that get ahead.
Yeah. I've never tried to get ahead, Jack. I just, when I'm in a job, I want to be the best at it. And making myself valuable move me up.
Yeah. I mostly aim to not get fired.
And if that's what you're aiming for, that's what you'll hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Sometimes it's harder than others. Believe me, I have to work at it.
But on that, guys, we are going to wrap up. I think that takes care of previous business that people had asked me about. For the record, if you've never DM'd me before and you send me a DM and I don't answer it, please try to get my attention on Twitter. Normally, just tag me because I'll see that a lot better. Lately, the spam has just been ridiculous. I'm getting ready to close my DMs, Jack.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I've heard horror stories lately. It's like the comment section over on Rumble where you got like all those people like, would you like a business manager? No,
yeah, it's gotten real bad like the last week, and I don't know why, but it used to be I would get one or two a day. I get dozens a day now.
I personally blame the Foot Clan.
I blame Ashley.
Ashley, that hussy.
I bet it was her. She bred with Elon and made the spam bots worse.
She broke the algorithm with her hypnotic vaginal juices. The same man said.
Her buttery vaginal juices.
Like, man, I don't know about her vaginal juices. I will endeavor to inspect them. I'm just glad that I wasn't the father of that baby, because immaculate conception could, that's a real thing.
I look, ladies, if you're gonna just go out there and be a baby mama, do it with Elon. At least he's got the money to pay for it.
Yeah.
I never once heard that he was late on child support.
Right? I'm just hoping Roaming Millennial comes back hotter. So,
yeah, I wonder what's going on with her. I ain't heard that.
Yeah, I don't know
from her since the Canadian Parliament had her in front of them, and she went, "I'm not gonna speak."
Like, if she needs a shoulder to cry on, I have one, but it will involve nudity.
I am wondering. I mean, technically, she could face charges here in the U.S.
Yeah. I don't know about the U.S. charges, but I think she's in enough trouble in Canada. They may not bother.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you so much for the donations. You guys are so kind. If you haven't noticed, I have been gaming again on YouTube here on Ranting Monkey Games. Done live streams the last 2 nights. Feel free to come over there and ask me if I'm going to do this show.
Well, that's funny.
And it's true. But yeah, check that out. Jack, anything you want to show?
I'll drop a link in the chat. As always, thank you guys so much for the donations. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for all the support you give us. You're beautiful people, and we appreciate you showing up every time.
Matt asked me, why no Twitch? As somebody pointed out when I explained this on YouTube earlier tonight, my ego overrode money. I make more money on Twitch, but I get more viewers on YouTube, and I need to be seen and heard. I have a compulsion. So wherever the bigger audience is where I'm headed. Just saying.
At least you can admit it.
It's 100% true. Comparatively speaking, I make nothing on YouTube, on my game channel, but I get easily 3 to 4 times more views on YouTube than I do over there.
Oh,
yeah. So I want the audience to see me because I like to be seen.
Well, hasn't Twitch been having some problems too?
They had their own version of the adpocalypse, but it didn't really affect me because I'm small and don't get into politics over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was mostly people like Hassan who were just, Jew bashing and pretending they're not.
Yeah. Oh, there's that.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for hanging out. Jack, a pleasure as always, my friend.
Always glad to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we love you. Take care of yourselves. We're so happy you join us, and we will see you eventually. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
I have a song to sing to you about my giant wiener.